The story begins with massive blasts destroying everything on the city's outskirts. Terrific-looking goblin swirls out of the ground, turning the city into a mess. He is aiming for a young, innocent girl, but a baldy has rescued her. One Punch Man is the name of this brave, bald, and fierce hero. He exclaims that he is saving people just for fun, but his competition is still not there. The goblin is one of the fiercest ones, but he lays him dead in a single punch. He is a hero just for fun, and his potential training makes him a one-punch man who can demolish everyone in just one punch. 3 years ago, when Saitama was unemployed and continued wandering around for a job, shockingly he bumps into a crablante that is rushing into the city. A young child with a bigger chin played a joke on him, and he killed several people while looking for him. A few moments earlier, the big chin boy drew nipples at the monster. He spares the life of Saitama, considering him dead with no life motivation. Moving on, Saitama finds the young boy in a park, but he doesn't bother to talk about the monster, because he doesn't want to involve in the matter. In the meantime, the monster jumps in and is about to kill the child. Unintentionally, he jumped in between and saved the child. Instead, the monster beats him up as he tries to save the little boy. He can't figure out why he feels so sorry for the child, but he does and saves the kid. He also talks about how, as a child, he always wanted to be a hero who could beat any monster with one punch. While in continuous confusion, he wraps his tie around the monster's eye and then pulls it off. After 3 hard years, Saitama has been wearing the hero's outfit with a bald head. He is the same one-punch star who has trained so hard over the past 3 years that he has gone bald. He is also one of the most powerful heroes in the world. The monster is huge and rushing to ruin the city. He wants to rule the world. His scientist brother prepared medication and helped him to get bigger and more potent. They are confident in ruling the world with the scientific brain and the physical strength of the monster. Saitama jumps on the spare shoulder to fight him back. The scientist suggests smashing Saitama on the other shoulder. However, it pats his brother, mistakenly thinking of him as Saitama. He regrets his carelessness. He considers Saitama for the death of his beloved brother and smashes him against the ground several times. But he rescues himself by slipping out of his hand. The monster regrets his loneliness and his power because now he has lost his brother. Saitama induces a punch and kills the monster. He is back home with no interest and thrill to fight anymore because he has no competitor. He no longer finds the fights exciting, aggressive, or fun. A new monstrous group crashes his house into debris in a few minutes. They are the Earthlings here to rule the world and consider humans sickness. However, Saitama can't escape a surprise attack. Even though he fights back, he kills them all in no time. Surprisingly, he measures the lost emotions in his body, such as the exhaustion of fighting, the thrill of standing against, and the joy of winning. He pokes holes in their bodies and breaks their heads. Instantly, a king-ID Earthlings come, and Saitama is about to kill them but wakes up with a jerk. It was all a dream, although he notices a roar outside and jumps out to fight them back. But they get scared and run away and apologize. Here, a swarm outbreak in Z City is predicted. Saitama is busy doing his chores. Besides, the whole city is needed to evacuate. A bug is seen swirling around his hand while watering the plants. He smashes it against the hand, but it flies away. But he will not give up that soon, so he starts chasing it. On the contrary, Genos, a mechanical hero, is figuring out the situation. In just a few seconds, he sees a huge swarm of mosquitoes sucking the blood of a random thief. Genos watches the mosquito swarm that feeds a fierce woman with human blood. Out of the swarm comes a fierce mosquito woman. She is asking for more blood. Genos stands up to rebel against them and warns her to leave the city. He throws a fireball at her, but the lady is potent. A terrific fight starts between them. Genos has electrical skills that allow him to shoot lasers of light, while the mosquito lady is good at avoiding his attacks. She moves toward him, jabs his arm with her pointy brown nail, and pulls it away from his shoulder. She is happy about a small win but doesn't notice her legs are broken. Genos tore off her legs while she was taking the arm off. After a few minutes, the mosquito lady goes red and gets stronger. This is because she has gathered blood from all the people in the city, which she can never run out of. She can rip a building apart with a single thrash. She moves forward and starts tearing Genos' body apart. His system has been broken in many places, so he chooses to destroy himself rather than lose to a mosquito. While he decides to self-destruct, Saitama moves in and challenges the mosquito lady. She dies on the spot. Genos admire the powers of Saitama and save himself from destruction. From now on, he wants to be his student, so he asks for his name. Saitama doesn't take him seriously. One day, Genes approach Saitama's house and decide to surrender himself as his disciple. Saitama discourages him from being with him and asks him to leave. However, he is stubborn and insists on living with him. He explains that at the age of 15, he was rescued by a doctor. He puts machines as his body parts which work like human limbs. He is behind the worst enemy and wants to learn some new skills. A fierce monster has raided Saitama's house and he blows it several times. Genos go for the second one to target, but in the time it takes to blink, Saitama has already been killed. Saitama is just so fast and rapid beyond imagination. In the middle of this, an armored ape appears and roars at him, but Saitama is yawning at him. Beast King tells him to give up or he will slit his eyes, but he comes out of the ground and challenges the fierce gorilla. He challenges the attacks but in a fit of anger and power. Also, he uses the lion slash meteor power shower without thinking about what will happen. Saitama is powerful and wise, so he rescues the attacks and punches them consecutively. The strongest armored ape is dead with these consecutive punches. A squirrel opens up a burrow in the ground and runs away, but Saitama blocks its way and escapes. All monsters are dead except the ape, who is poorly injured but still arrogant. But when he sees the popped-out eye of the king, he freaks out and starts apologizing. Here explains the House of Evolution's emergence and an obsessed scientist's story. An obsessed scientist spent his whole life researching the ideas of evolution, but his ideas always got rejected, and he never got aid for further research from the scientific community. He made the decision to open his own lab where he would create powerful cyborgs in addition to clones of himself. In order to build his own army, he conducted experiments on both humans and animals. Saitama and Genos, who an armored gorilla is stopping, are something he does learn about. Therefore, the researcher believes that allowing these two into the lab will completely erase all recordings. He requests that the Carnage Kabuto, his secret weapon, be prepared so he can counter these dangers. Though horrified by his decision, his colony believes this is the only way to handle Saitama, the greatest of them all. Saitama and Genos, meantime, have arrived at the home of evolution. Genos' sole bold and courageous action is to start again. He wants to demolish the structure since he wants to get rid of everything from the ground up. However, they stumble into a cottage underground. The true home of the Kabuto is in this vast basement. They are engaged in a violent struggle. The experts order the monster to kill Saitama since he is regarded to be the strongest man in the entire world. They are placed in a huge, colorless room that is completely white. Genos approaches and makes an attempt to disintegrate him with electric shocks, but they are unsuccessful. The monster is the scientist's most potent creation. Therefore, he utilizes the machine gun blow to crush his bones. He is, therefore, unaffected. The Kubota gets to work and simultaneously hits Genos many times. When he can no longer take it, he strikes back. The hair on Gon's head is blown out, and his body has several short circuits. Saitama rushes in to get his own revenge since he is furious to see his pupil in such a precarious situation. The Kabuto retreats before engaging in combat because he feels a strong force surrounding him. They questioned him about his strength, but Saitama was unable to provide a straightforward response. Instead, he explained to them that his perseverance and hard work gave him strength. They are startled to learn that training is the key factor and has nothing to do with heredity or any other secret. When the Kabuto hears that, it is happy and activates the Carnage mode. It is the mode in which the bodily muscles continue to grow while being filled with strength and rage. The monster further claims that nobody can stop the mode from going on for a week. Saitama strikes him hard and rips it into bits after realizing that his favorite store's deal is about to end. The monster is dispersed around the space like raindrops. They dash to the store right away to take advantage of the sale. After this, scientists stop attempting novel ideas. A group of paradises are opposed to the city's wealthy residents at the beginning of the episode. Despite not knowing his source of income, some claim that Zenaru is wealthy. He is said to as a thief who violates common people's rights. Their leader Hammerhead orders the troops to wear special battle costumes and shave their heads to demonstrate their authority. Meanwhile, Saitama awakens from a nightmare and switches on the TV to see what's happening. He prepares to pursue them out of the city because he is furious. After all, they have no hair on their heads. However, when a motorcyclist arrives to murder the group, the gang beats him up with only one move. They approach the Zenaru building intending to destroy it, but they end up destroying the incorrect one. They pass a cute ninja lad who is excellent at what he does as they travel. He claims that no one has ever survived after encountering him. Then he leaps forward and chops off their heads and bodies. Aside from the Hammerhead, all of them die in a single, violent leap. He gathers a number of large rocks and arranges them to obstruct the path because he is prepared to fight back. However, the ninja boy is moving so quickly that he cannot even see him when he runs between the rocks. Without realizing it, Hammerhead chops the trees into pieces and throws them in his direction. However, he is standing close by, driving a nail into his head. He appears to be dead for a while, and the ninja boy informs the captain that they have perished. The hammerhead is still alive, though, and his body vanishes due to his extraordinarily thick brain compared to that of a human. On the other hand, Saitama attracts the attention of the populace because they believe he is one of them. After a battle, he flees from them and bumps into the shark in a thicket. He challenges Saitama to match his pace and activate the most powerful mode of his special suit. Saitama pauses his maneuver, which causes him to whirl around swiftly. It is noisily, though it is powerless to accomplish anything. Saitama permits him to flee since he has nothing planned. Meanwhile, the ninja boy approaches him, believing him to be one of the paradises. Even if he insists that he is not one of them, people may still mistake him for one due to his bald head. He ignores him and strikes him twice, but Saitama thwarts each of his assaults. He believes Saitama won't be able to keep up with his fast movements, so he begins the wind blade kick. To his astonishment, Saitama notices what he's doing and even deflects his quick kick. He considers working hard till he can fight Saitama back since he feels humiliated when Saitama fights him. Saitama is at home chatting to the ninja youngster while having tea with the fully recovered jeans. Meanwhile, Saitama is concerned that nobody is familiar with him after fighting in the city for 3 years. Dons advises him to join the Heroes Association so he might garner exposure on a national scale, perhaps even presence and gratitude from the general people. He consents to enroll straight immediately. Additionally, he advises Genos to register so that both himself and his pupil will be acknowledged. On the other side, he may be killed by the superior from whom the hammerhead stole the combat suits. The Hero Rank Association decides the location of this year's hero selection procedure before the event even begins. 6 locations will test new heroes and determine which classes they will advance to. When they arrived, Saitama and Genos performed well on the written and physical examinations. Even if Saitama uses all of his might to smash everything in the hallway, no one even bothers to approach him to discuss it. After an hour, their findings were available while Genos was being questioned. Saitama receives a C-type ranking with 100% of the points, whereas Genos receives an S-type ranking with 75% of the points. It's odd to learn that Genos is ranked higher than Saitama, considering how much physically stronger he is. They stop caring about the outcomes and begin collaborating in order to receive favorable comments. The instructor cautions the beginners not to behave like Saitama, who doesn't take anything seriously. However, they are uninterested in the teacher's lecture since it is dull. Both of these pupils performed exceptionally well on their assessments, and the teacher learned after class. As a result, he blocks his path home to demonstrate Saitama's skill. He commands him to demonstrate his true power, but all it takes is one blow to beat him up. Saitama returns home after he gets snarled up in the mud mound. Genos officially becomes Saitama's followers when they begin training the next morning. He has different physical energy and power this time, so he jumps higher to unleash his blasts. Even though his power and speed have improved, he is still aware that Saitama's shadow actually covers him. At the same moment, he is standing somewhere else. Genos advises him to take the drill seriously and fight him back appropriately, since he notices that he is not dodging his blows and is being friendly to him on purpose. Saitama is unaware that Genos is shocked to find that he can fight, but Genos is. When Saitama nods, the devastating fire attacks are stopped. His one blow is so potent that it shatters the earth and numbs Genos' body. He briefly loses consciousness and cannot stop admiring the power and quickness of his master. Genos is prepared to exert all effort necessary to match his strength. Saitama then takes him to a restaurant to meet Genos in person. Mask, a class A rank 1 hero, is traveling to this location. He thinks he's intriguing, so he offers him a present to say hello. Genos must remember what he said, act fairly, and the school wants him to succeed. On the other hand, Mask admires Genos for his strength and quickness. On the way home, Genos breaks up with Saitama and instructs him to head home alone. Here, the Genes are recording Saitama's lectures in a notepad. Saitama feels awful when he hears it since he lacks a concrete plan or trick to impart to him. He needs to develop a strategy right now because it appears he is attempting to fool his learner. In order to gain power and vitality, he instructs him on some new rules. He also provides him with some points from the manga he was reading. Additionally, he advises him to use his intellect as much as possible. Because his body is mechanical, he does not need to work out or gain strength. The Genes, therefore, demonstrate that if a hero does not do any action within a week of joining up, their registration will be revoked. Saitama has spent the past week lounging on the couch because he often battles larger creatures. Furthermore, he didn't want to participate in little conflicts like stealing, snatching, etc. but he had to take action the following day if he wanted to stay up with the heroic gang. He gets dressed up and scurries around the city in search of some activity, but he doesn't uncover anything. Instead, he notices that the young ninja is after him and, having received training, is prepared to defeat him. However, a little girl convinces him that Saitama has been terrifying him by horrifically prowling around the city since yesterday. Saitama is the greatest tank tiger in the class. Saitama attempts to persuade them that he is a hero, but they interpret it incorrectly. Thus, he is unable to speak, and a battle ensues. The ninja child develops the exploding shuriken because he can't wait for Saitama to settle the dispute with the top tank tiger. The top tank tiger, a magnificent hero, is dispatched in a single motion. Saitama is now forced to take the offensive. The hail of carnages that the ninja youngster launches at him from the skies causes significant damage to the city's civilian sector. Between battles, Saitama intervenes to help a youngster because he is fed up with his foolish behavior. He then smacks him to the ground after rising to a high position. It only takes one blow to defeat him. There is no documentation of Saitama's actions in the hero organization's offices to keep track of the heroes there so they could verify their registration. They dispatched 2 rank-A heroes to Z City. People in the city believe they have seen a monster with brown hair in the meantime. The 2 masters conclude that the city must be full of terrifying monsters after observing all the devastation. Genos immediately receives a notice that a monster is nearby. The 2 rank-A heroes then leap into the monster, launch the quick toward her, and draw their bows. With one eye, a dark complexion, and a lot of hair, she finds out to be a monster. She places one of her hairs over his throat to suffocate one of them. One has already passed away, while the other is escaping. Even though he doesn't want to fight, he must, so he takes out his sword and begins to struggle. Her tentacles are as strong as steel, so he has no chance. He is terrified and trembling if the Hero Association doesn't obtain assistance right away. The fact that the hero was so simple to apprehend has angered the woman monster. So, he notices a person approaching from behind. Saitama runs into her while he is returning from the store. The Saitama is now preparing the supper as the scene shifts. The Saitama garbage can is full of the monster's steel-like tentacles. It implies that he eliminates the beast covertly, without anybody noticing. On the other side, the hero gang is concerned about monsters in the city. The monster with brown hair is a frightening and powerful woman who may harm your children. Therefore, search teams have been organized all throughout the city to find her. They are left with no choice but to request the help of a wealthy young woman to view the monster. A second young lady storm hero with green hair would want to go battle the other one but is unable to. After their horrific battle with the monster, the 2 rank heroes are transported to the hospital. Even though the monsters are already dead, they locate them scattered about the city and terrify the populace. They, therefore, discover a monster's arm on the streets. The higher authorities at the Heroes Association confirm that a meteor is approaching fast near Earth. They are apprehensive and want to deal with the situation without creating panic among the public. Therefore, they call all the S-rank heroes to the Heroes Association headquarters. Genos also receives a call. Saitama mocks him that they probably invited headquarters to fire him. At the Heroes Association, no one except an older man who introduces himself as Bang. He also belongs to rank S, class 3. Bang shares that Earth is facing a grave dragon-level threat that includes multiple cities' destruction, and to prevent the cities, they have invited all the S-rank heroes. But unfortunately, no one appeared except 2 of them. A meteor is about to strike the city in 35 minutes. Therefore, the Heroes Association wants to know if S-rank heroes can save the city. But in Bang's opinion, the meteor will strike the city at such an angle that they would be unable to do anything. The association has yet to inform the public about the danger. They plan to release the news 30 minutes before it hits the city's ground. Suddenly the siren buzzes in the city, and loudspeakers announce to evacuate the city. Without further delay, Genos leaves the headquarters quickly. Roads are jammed with traffic as cars are lined on the route to leave the city. Hence, Genos moves through the roofs and wears probe armor on his arms. Just then, Bafoy arrives, and Genos asks him to unite to save the city. He refuses as he has arrived to test his fire missile. Bafoy throws numerous fire missiles at Meteor, but does not destroy it. Watching this, Genos uses all his powers to save the city from destruction, even if it costs him his life. but he could not push it away and sat down, just then and powerless. Just then, Saitama asks Bang to look after Genos and jump toward the meteor. In one punch, he breaks the meteor into small pieces that save the city from mass destruction. But smaller parts of it begin falling, destroying the buildings. Later at home, Saitama and Genos watch the news that no one died from the pieces of meteor that fell on the buildings. However, people are devastated as many have lost their homes. Genos knows that people blame Saitama for the destruction, but no one knows that what he did to save City Z is nothing ordinary. But he decides not to tell Saitama as it is his heart. When he asks Genos if it made any improvement in their ranks, it angers him that he is stickless ribbing in rank CB. Geno jumped to class 5 from 342. Hence Geno shares that dragon level events are less intense than god level events. Now Saitama decides to go into the city to see what people think, and stops Genos as he wants to take all the credit for something that happens now. Saitama feels sad seeing all the damage, but simultaneously, the Tank Top brothers arrive. They are still rank B and jealous of how a rank C hero can suddenly jump up in class. They plan to tarnish his reputation in front of the public, saying he destroyed the city. In response to provocation, the mob begins shouting that he must leave the Heroes Association. Saitama stands black in the middle of the crowd while Genos reads on City Z's internet group. The public blames Saitama for bringing about destruction. Bang feels sorry, seeing that he received humiliation for his service. Tank Top brothers want a duel between them and Saitama to decide who is more powerful. Hence they attack him, but Saitama, who grabs Tank Top brother, is about to crush his hand. When he pleads to leave him, and at the same time, Saitama tells everyone angrily that he does not need any admiration, and leaves for home with Genos, who admires his fighting skill and shares that no one knows what he did for the city, but he will never forget his service and keep admiring it. At the same time, rumors are circulating that the Heroes Association's rank C hero performs better than others. After a few days, an octopus from the clan of Sea Folks enters the city, knowing that Saitama takes down that giant octopus with a single punch. Afterwards, the citizens watch the octopus's tentacles thrown all around the street, discussing how a C rank killed it. But next time, the clan of Sea Folks comes in a group. This time, Stinger fights and kills a couple of them. But ultimately, the Deep Sea King throws him away and he gets unconscious. The Heroes Association announced in the city that it was a tiger-level threat. Hearing this, Genos and Saitama begin running faster towards City J. The demon-level monster follows Lightning Max, who is level a hero. Trying to punch a monster in the face, he throws it away. But then the monster retaliates and throws Lightning Max out of the building. He gets badly injured. Just then, Puri Prisoner appears on the street of City J. He breaks out of prison as he is still a rank S and wants to defeat the monster to get a higher rank. Sonic followed him to get out of jail. Just then, the monster arrives and punches in Puri Prisoner's face. But he is not here to fail, he fights fearlessly. Removing his clothes, the Puri Prisoner appears in angel mode with wings. But he has much less power, hence monster punches a few times in response and kills him too. Putting Puri's body with other a rank boys, monster turns towards Sonic. When his dragon fails to take down Sonic, the monster begins attacking Puri himself. But strategically fighting, Sonic does not fight with fists or weapons. Instead, he flees when the monster attacks. Suddenly, the monster wants to kill him, but his speed amazes him. At the same time, Saitama meets the cycling boy on the street stuck in heavy rain. He, too, belongs to Class C and wants to meet Genos. On the other hand, a rank top class hero, Mask, interviews on TV that heroes should be tough and strong. With enormous speed, they can stand a chance to win against any monster. While Deep Sea King grabs Sonic and is about to crush his bones, but he escapes his grip and flees. On the other hand, Deep Sea King reaches the detention center where citizens are hiding. He is about to break the place when a man belonging to Class C stops him, but he secretly fears the Deep Sea King so much that he pees in his pants. Watching him confront alone, 3 more come ahead to fight, one of which belongs to Class A. After taking a ride to a certain distance, Saitama gets off the bike of the Mumin rider. After he leaves, Saitama finds his mobile ringing in the middle of the road in the rain. He belongs to the Heroes Association, and they want him to handle the Sea King carefully, because he has easily defeated S-rank heroes. While in the convention center, the Deep Sea King easily defeats all the heroes, including one a-rank hero. At the same time, Genos reaches the convention center while Saitama is a little late. Through the powerful fire missile, he manages to injure the Deep Sea King. But this angers him more, and he attacks Genos when people appreciate him for attacking the Deep Sea King. While on the phone with the Heroes Association, Saitama shares that he is racing towards the convention center. They send him a location to reach faster as they also want to see what a class hero can do. While Genos keeps attacking Deep Sea King with his combo attacks. Once the king knows his strategy, he uses it against him. At first, he breaks Genos' robotic arm, and afterwards, the Deep Sea King throws a slime ball toward a little girl running out of the center. Genes come in the way to prevent the girl's body from melting, and the ball strikes his body. Genos' body begins melting so fast that Deep Sea King is about to kill Genos when the Mumen Rider throws his bicycle with his back. He turns back and sees a Class C hero with much less power than him. Hence King throws Mumen away, but he gets up immediately despite being injured. Motivating lower rank fighters, he assures them that it's his duty that he will take down such a giant monster. No one will tell him that he is weak. Everyone shouts in unison to motivate him. Hence, the injured Mumen Rider once more attacks Deep Sea King, but the king throws him away in a moment. At the same time, Saitama enters the convention center and holds the Mumen Rider's body in his hands. Challenging the Deep Sea King, he gets ahead while watching Genos lying aside. While the body is quickly melting, those who know Saitama are disappointed, as no one expects a C-class hero to kill such a giant monster. Hence, without delay, Saitama punches Deep Sea King, who falls immediately, and the crowd shouts, praising Saitama. After a few days, Genos and Saitama walking along the street, receive the mail through the drone. Opening them, Genos read many appreciation letters for himself, while Saitama gets disappointed after reading the worst comments for himself. Because the day when they killed Deep Sea, one of the boys in the crowd shouts that previous fights were the monster. That's why Saitama killed him in one punch. Hearing this, Saitama does not refuse and assures them that he is one ordinary hero. The actual heroes before him took down the monster. He just helped finish him off quickly. Hence they call him a cheat from City Z, and Genos feels sorry for what people think of him. After that incident, the Heroes Association calls Saitama at their headquarters. He wants to know if he wants to go up to level C. He agrees after a bit of discussion, but they warn him to stay truthful and never cheat. Saitama got the paper where his ranking was officially moved to Class B. On his way back home, he stops by a food stall. Inside there, Mumen Rider sitting with his broken arm. Saitama received the only appreciation letter, and that was from Mumen. He remembers how King Mumen Rider kept saying that he hated C-rank tasks on their way to kill Deep Sea. Just then, the food arrives. Shortly after that, Terror Lizard clan attacks the city. He remained king on Earth for many years and now wants to regain his supremacy. When the Heroes Association gets the news, they leave a flying girl to fight the Terror Lizard King. She talks on the phone while the monster waits for her to finish her phone. Afterwards, she scolds him for interrupting. The flying girl holds enormous power that, in an intense fireball, she puts the Lizard King to rest. Afterwards, Genos and Saitama visit Bang's dojo. He teaches unique defensive skills to his students. Chiranko challenges them, but recently many students left dojo. One of his students adopted all the evil traits and defeated his other students. That tarnished the dojo's reputation, and many students left. Hence he and Chiranko live here for now. Just then, a man from headquarters comes running. He hurriedly says that all the S-ranked heroes are invited to the Heroes Association. They take Saitama with them and begin walking to HQ. Boss Atomic Samurai does not shake hands with Saitama for being a low-rank normie. Tornado mocks him for arriving uninvited. Hence, after a few minutes, their meeting begins. They warn everyone to take a seat if they have an interest. Otherwise, anyone can leave the room. To begin with, it's about Madame Shibawa's last prophecy. She choked before predicting it. Therefore, the last letter had some unclear words. It reads that Earth will encounter serious trouble in the next 6 months. They all decide to handle it. But suddenly, someone attacks the headquarters. The Sky King arrived with 4 soldiers, a hawk, an eagle, a falcon, and a kite. Suddenly, a giant kills them all and begins City A's destruction. They arrived on a big ship, and a man with many heads was on a killing spree. 2 S-rank heroes stop him from killing innocent citizens, while others in Heroes Association building think that they are safe. As Metal Knight built this building so strong, Cydia has broken to pieces, and a multi-head creature has attacked the survivors. Saitama flies in the air, invading the spaceship that brought the enemies here. While Laron breaks multi-head in many pieces, it regenerates. At the same time, Atomic Samurai comes. Along with other S-rank members, he teams up to kill the aliens, while the headquarters estimate that the magnitude of attack is no less than dragon level. While King, the most respected hero, denies that he cannot invade the spacecraft. They must call a Metal Knight to kill it. Tornado gets angry as King has denied entering without even trying. On the other hand, Saitama had already entered the spaceship, and after destroying many portions and killing aliens in his way, he reaches the inner chamber. While the alien's boss gets into the control room to monitor the activities of the multi-faced alien sent on Earth, he is scared that the intruder in the ship has destroyed 25% of parts of it. While many of their fighters are killed, the king is not worried, until he has his two most skilled fighters. But the octopus tells the boss that one of them is facing defeat on Earth. The news channels share that Cydia has been completely demolished. On the other hand, Class S heroes disable multi-faced aliens from sending messages back to the ship. They keep cutting his limbs with swords, while Saitama has entered the power grid of the ship. At the same time, S-rank fighters attack the multi-faced alien simultaneously. That cuts its face into pieces, and a shiny stone emerges. Cutting that stone kills one face ultimately. Hence, they all attack the alien to find the stone and finish off the alien. On the other hand, Saitama hears a voice requesting him to leave the ship. When he resists that he does not know where he should turn to get out of the ship, the voice directs him to go right, but he starts running in the left direction. Following Saitama rapidly, the octopus alien enters a room that looks like a psychic center. He throws stones at Saitama, who throws it back on the octopus. That breaks his head in two pieces and kills him. Therefore, he asks about the way to reach the leader. While after waiting for a while, when the octopus does not return to the control room, another alien throws bombs targeted at Earth. While S-class heroes have killed all faces and only one left, he knows that bombs will attack anytime. But Tornado stops the shells before it hits the ground and sends them back to destroy spaceship. Mumen Rider has started teaming up with Stinger and Lightning Max to rescue survivors. While Saitama reached the boss's chamber, he introduced himself as Burroughs, and he dominated the universe. But someone predicted that he would find someone on Earth who has equal fighting qualities as he has. Hearing this angers Saitama that he destroyed a big city to fulfill his wish to fight. Hence he punches his face and throws it away, which breaks his invincible armor, and then Burroughs takes on another body. Saitama casually defends himself in response to the boss Rose's attacks. An S-rank hero underestimates the terrible Tornado's power, but she asks Jim to stay aside and throw many stone objects toward the spaceship. She uses psychic power in doing so, which shakes the ship. On the other hand, many heroes left after leaving the last head of a multi-head alien to Atomic. Suddenly Bang appears again, and his bruises are all healed up. Alien is surprised, but Bang gets his last stone and kills momentarily. On the other hand, after watching the strength of Saitama, he admits that he is the most powerful being he knows. Now he unleashes his destructive energy while attacking Saitama. With the help of the propulsive force, he throws Saitama onto another planet. But in the next few minutes, Saitama is back on the ship. Burroughs now knows that this man has got a real fighter soul. He attacks once again while Saitama punches him as a last tactic. It breaks all the powers in Burroughs and shatters his ship too. Going away, Saitama admits that Burroughs fought like a real warrior. But Burroughs dies, saying he is nowhere near Saitama's fighting skills. The crash of the ship is about to fall on City A. Every S-rank fighter that fought below it ran to save themselves. After it ends, rank a hero Cayman Amai, or Handsome, reaches there. He heard the rumbling voices, and he rushed to wash his city. But he is extremely sad to see his city changed to rubble. Cayman called them lazy for letting the city turn to rubble and ashes, while they are so-called S-rank heroes. At that time, he warns about what they would tell the media when an alien attack begins. At the same time, the Metal Knight arrived there. Genos remembers what his friend advised him. Metal Knight is their enemy. He stops him, asking why he didn't show up in the battle and why he is here now. He suspects that Metal Knight wants to make similar weapons that aliens had to dominate the world. Besides, they find that inside the fallen ship, there are some alien survivors. Suddenly Cayman punches and kills them all. He finds it better to get rid of all of them at once. While leaving, he whispers in Genos' ear that he performs poorly. Genos kept thinking that Cayman had gone through something terrible that made him rude. While Saitama punches into the shell of spaceship and comes out, he shares how tough it was to kill the alien's boss. While Tornado begins scolding him, that is why as a Class B hero, he killed many aliens alone. Just then, Bang arrived and asked her to leave now, as Cydia faced destruction. They rebuilt the Heroes Association's headquarters to accommodate the A-class hero. Watch this left video and subscribe to Annie Summary for more anime recaps.